Hi guys, welcome to Around the Campfire with AmeriCamp, the ultimate summer camp podcast. I'm delighted to be joined today by Mr. Travel with the Law himself, Tom Law. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Great to get you on the podcast. Obviously, you sort of been associated with AmeriCamp as an influencer brand ambassador for a few years now, so you've got lots of camp stories that we've been wanting to hear and that you've told us at camp fairs and stuff like that. So it's great that we can actually get you on the podcast and sort of let everyone into the amazing experiences you've had. Just to start with, do you sort of want to introduce yourself, tell us about your camp, where you're going to, what you're doing there?
Excellent. So, hi everyone, my name's Tom. I've been going to Camps Equinunk Blue Ridge for the past 2 summers. I've been a General Counsellor for the past 2 summers and then going to go back to camp to do a similar job. It's just been a whirlwind of an experience, and I just can't wait to get back for a 3rd summer. Who knows if we add many more summers, but I just can't wait to get back in 21 days.
Yeah, you'll definitely add more summers. I think the fact you've hit 3 years now, that means you're in for life. You're going to be sort of committed to that camp going forward. But yeah, fantastic. Being able to go for your 3rd summer at a camp, it's very much your home by that point, and you sort of do get like a different experience each time you go back. In terms of your past summers, how was like your 1st summer and your 2nd summer? Like, did you have a great time at both? Were they different in any way? How were your past experiences?
Yeah, it's hard to compare both of them together, but as an overall, it's really hard to put into words how to describe them both. It's just been an incredible experience both times. Like, it's sort of like magical in the way how it just comes about, and it's just really special. Especially being a returner, it makes it that even more special when you have that responsibility to the new counsellors. You understand what they're experiencing, and you get to guide them through camp, like through the highs. Like, it's going to be really fun at times, but also you get to be that arm on the shoulder, like through the tough times. Like, yeah, it's going to be a bit tiring, but I'm here for you, and we can get through it together. And no matter what, we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a really good time out of it. But yeah, I'm kind of proud that's how it's turned out. Like, I've become a better person out of it, wanting that responsibility, and taking on those new counsellors and bringing them into our camp family. Because now I really feel like a part of a family. Not like I didn't in the first, but in the first time it's like you're settling in and you're taking in new surroundings, and it's a bit hard to get into it. But then once you're in camp and you're in the family, then it's, as you said, you're there for life, and a 3rd year is going to definitely feel like a few more years. But once you take that getting used to it, it becomes natural to you after that. So just really happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good point about being a returner. Like, obviously you do get the same fun at camp, you do get that same feeling you did like maybe your 1st summer, but you do get a sort of ownership in a way, and you want to help all the first timers. You want them to settle, and you want them to have the same magical experience that you had your 1st summer. So I think that's obviously you returned last summer as well, but going back as a 3rd year, you're really going to be seen as like, this is the guy that will know everything about this camp and be able to like answer any question, be able to offer that support and stuff like that as well. Before you go to camp, you don't know what you're capable of in a way, and then you get there and you realise like how many skills you have, how many you're going to develop, like how well you work in that system, and then like I said, you just want to take on more and more and more until maybe you run into the place one day, who knows, maybe long in the future. Also as well, have you got like the same campers going back as well? Are you working with like a different group of kids, or are you growing up with your kids?
The first 2 summers I've had the same kids, but it's yet to be confirmed. I would probably stay with the juniors. So I had the sophomores my 1st summer, which is 8 to 9 years old, and then I followed them up to 9 to 10. Who knows? I might be able to follow them up to 11 to 12. I think that'd be really cool, following them all the way up. I think that's just a great thing about camp. I think it's one of the reasons I want to come back is you want to see your kids, grow up and be able to have those moments with them. Like, it's nice having like 1 summer, but then it's like, that'd be really cool, like seeing them grow up and like them grow as a person. I know you get skills yourself, and you grow, but you want to see your kids grow up and enjoy camp and make those friendships even stronger.
Yeah, definitely. I think seeing the campers grow is probably the most rewarding part of camp. I mean, for me personally, like, I literally saw some of these kids when they were 8 years old and scared about their 1st summer at camp, and then they come back 3 years later and they're like 11, like they're almost like, fully grown adults at this point. It's just that connection. Obviously, as a counsellor, you have a great time at camp, but camp is for the campers. And I think being able to be a part of their journey as they grow up, they're going to remember their British counsellor for the rest of their lives. They're going to remember your name like going forward in 20 years' time about the guy that kept coming back each summer because he enjoyed spending so much time with us. Definitely exciting. Going back to before you even went for the first time, then, because obviously a lot of people listening to this podcast are the first timers. They're going out for their first summer. I mean, we've already got people out in America at the moment. It's the season's upon us. What were sort of your expectations of camp before you went then? Like, was it what you expected? What were you expecting? How was it different? Can you just talk us through that?
It's so hard because you're stepping into in the unknown. So when I first had interest, this is back in like late 2019, and I don't think TikTok was a thing back then. And it's like, yeah, you had to go through like YouTube videos or like vlogs of people that have been to camps, but it's hard because everyone has like such a different experience that you don't get any answers, like real answers out of them. You don't get what you're looking for. It's just like you're left with more questions like, okay, but what might happen at my camp? And then when it got closer to the time for me, when I was like getting towards like being hired with my camp and matching with my camp, I tried speaking to returners, and you get a few more answers, but you're still not quite there. It's really not until you get there where it's like, wow, this is like intense. This is like crazy. And you can look at like even like your camp's video, because my camp has like an excellent media team, and they make so many great videos. And you look at them and just like, I remember talking to my family and be like, this is insane. Why have I signed myself up for this?
Yeah.
But it's just like once you're there, it's just like it's normal. Like it's normal to shout in the dinner hall, and it's normal to be dancing at like 8 a.m. It's everything's normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about stepping into the unknown and just taking that risk, and just being ready for that camp bubble. I think I expected it to like be a job and be hardworking, but I didn't expect it to take so much out of me that like when I get back home, it's like, oh, I just need a few days to get out the bubble and just be back home, like be present. Like it's quiet at home now. I haven't got kids screaming at me. Yeah. It's just nice and quiet, and I can actually reflect on what's going. Because once you're in that bubble, it's just like everything's honed in. But it's for a good reason, obviously. It's for everything, like all your experiences, to be in one place and not be distracted by like outside influences. I think, and that's what helps having no electronics at camp. Camp is just such a beautiful place where you just get to disconnect and be part of such a great experience with those campers.
Definitely. It's amazing how quickly life at camp is just your normal life. Like when you get there first, you're like, this is so strange, like how is this going to become? Then maybe 4 to 5 weeks in, it's just like, I can't remember anything different before this. Like this is my life now, this is going to be everything going forward. And then when it gets to the end of camp, it's sort of like you had a fantastic summer, you got all the amazing memories, but it's also quite sad in a way, like this life that I built up for the past 8 to 10 weeks is gone until you go back the next summer and sort of start it all again. So yeah, fantastic then. In terms of just going back a little bit further, what was sort of your journey at finding your camp then? Did you like speak to lots of camps? Did you go to a camp fair? Did you sort of know this was your camp from the first time you spoke to them? What sort of made you pick this camp and know it was your place?
So yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to go to a camp fair. I had the lovely Jen from the AmeriCamp team. She handled my application from like start to finish, and I've been quite lucky in a way. I've had quite a good experience working with children anyway, so it kind of ticked a lot of boxes for camps to kind of want me. And then when it got closer to the time, I get asked like what my preferences, like what kind of camp I'm looking for. Okay, let's go a bit further. And then we narrowed it down to 3 camps, Camps Equinunk Blue Ridge being one. I actually can't remember the other 2. It's lost in a message or email. I'll be very intrigued to find those other 2 to see like how, back, like how my life.
Yeah, the other life you could have had. Yeah, it's best not to think about that. You got a fantastic time with one you picked. Just be happy with that. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what. Yeah, I've narrowed it down to this camp, and I've done my research. I've looked, and I've tried to speak to a few returners. I'm like, I just like the look of this, like straight away. I think just location, everything, speaking to returners, they just glowing reviews, and then getting close to the time, I'm like, okay, I'm sorted, like I have to go to this camp, and then a few weeks after, set up a interview with the assistant director Jordan, and it was one of those, it wasn't really an interview, it was just such a nice chat. He was so welcoming, just doesn't make it feel like a serious job interview, where you feel like it's an interrogation. It's just like a general like a get to know you, and he just sold me like after a few minutes, just being so welcoming and just saying like how much he appreciates my experience and what I can bring to the team. And it just made like me feel good and want to be there instead of like, okay, like we'll have you. He just made me like, he sold the idea and wanted me to be part of the team, which I really appreciated. Like so happy that we come to a decision, because like 2 summers and going to be 3 summers later, like one of the best decisions ever made. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind of an experience, but just glad it's all been played in the right motion, and we ended up where we are.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good point to any sort of first time or anyone thinking about doing this experience. The camp interviews seem like the scariest thing in the world. Like, I'm speaking to some American person from this like thing I've been seeing on TikTok. But like I said, they're really welcoming. They sort of want to hire applicants. They're not there to, shout at you or ask you all these difficult questions. They want to sort of welcome you into the family and show you how fun it is to work there. So it's great to know you sort of got that impression straight away from your camp. And like I said, it's led to 3 years of this. So.
Yeah. I mean, you get like sweaty before just to know it's like, like what could they ask? But it's just important as well. Like, you're asking them questions and finding out as much about the camp as well. Because at the end of the day, it's where you're going to be spending your 8 weeks at working. So you want to make sure it's the right fit for you. But yeah, just really enjoyed that process entirely. Like the interview, I remember again talking to my family. I was just like, Jordan's such a really nice guy. He makes me want to go there. Just such a nice feeling afterwards, which is great.
That's a good part of it. Camp people are like the friendliest people you ever meet in the world. Like, to sort of be involved in it for as many years as a camp director or assistant director has been, you have to be outgoing and friendly. Like, that's because that's the sort of the vibe you want to give a camp. So it's great, like, it literally starts from that interview point, because that's probably made yourself just like so excited to eventually get there and, like I said, to sort of keep going summer after summer. So yeah, speaking of camp then, each camp sort of has their own traditions, their own way of sort of doing things, their own little societies in a way. Do you sort of have like a favourite camp tradition? Was there anything that if they told you were doing it before you went to camp, you would be like, that's crazy, but once you got there, it was like your favourite thing to do?
That's hard, because we had a few. So okay, I'll say one, and I might pick out a moment specifically. So our camp's not a faith-based camp, but most of the campers are predominantly Jewish. So on a Friday we had Shabbat services, and this must have been, so this specific moment must have been like 4 or 5 weeks in. So getting nearer to the end of camp, I think this particular day I was just quite tired, drained. I was like, okay, like we have services, like, I guess we'll give it a go. And yeah, we were singing some of the hymns, and some of it's in Hebrew, and I'm trying, and obviously I'm just, I'm making a fool of myself. I don't sound, I try my best. But yeah, one of my campers was just like so lovely. He gave me a nudge, and we just practiced the Hebrew, and he just went through it, and just the excitement on his face was so nice, and it's just refreshing. Like, after I've had such a tiring day, like, when you're being a counsellor, like, trying to make sure they're having a great time, and you're making sure their needs are met. But just the way, like, he had such a big smile on his face, and he wanted to make sure, like, I had a great time as well. And like, I think that's the lesson I took away. Like, it doesn't matter. So you don't have to be the loudest in the room to be like a general counsellor, as long as like you're there for the campers, and like, being present and making sure they're having a good time. That's all they care about, and that's all they're going to remember, like those little moments. Definitely. And I'm glad that I come back now in the winter and be like, I remember that good moment of services, or I remember that sunset. I remember that time spent off with my counsellors. I'm just it's the little moments that you remember that really sticks with you. I think like the services. Like, it wasn't even like brought up to me that much during my interview. Like, I didn't know about it, but I'm glad I wasn't told. So it's like a nice surprise. Okay. Like, I could just adjust to the culture and just like be like accepted like straight away and be part of the family. So it's just again like a really nice feeling, and like a tradition that I'm actually like excited to go back to camp and just like experience another culture again.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good point as well, because obviously you went and experienced like a different culture that you weren't used to at all, but it seemed like you were just welcoming them straight away, sort of broadened your horizons maybe about how these sort of things work. And it was really nice of that camper as well to sort of know you might have not known what to do at that point and just give you like a little nudge to help out. It shows that the campers can help you as much as you help them. If you had to pick like a favourite part, I know it's difficult, like a favourite moment, like if you could go back to like one activity or one event or one part of your camp journey so far, is there any you could pick out, or is there just too many?
There's a lot. Again, there's a lot, but I think like one part that sticks out is just colour war, because it's basically the curtain closer camp. Everyone knows that camp's coming to an end, and it's just it's a bit sad. Like you know that it's coming to an end, and you want to spend like every last moment with all your favourite people. And with colour war as well, you get like ex-campers come in, like, people won't understand what I'm saying, like chiefs of the colour war come in and talk about their time at camp. and it feels great to be part of the present history at camp, but also like
Yeah.
the future. And it's just like, wow, I was part of this color war with all these people, and we had such a great time. It's like it's only a few days, but we just had like the best time ever, and we just made the most of those few days. And again, it's just simple. It's not like on technology. We're like playing sports, like out in the sun with everyone, like all day. It's a lot of energy, but again, it just brings like the most happiness out of everyone. And that's just what sticks with me, like all the time.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's great as well. Like, it's a nice finale to it all. Like, after this entire experience, like, you had that sort of closure in a way of like the colour wars coming. Like, this is my chance to say goodbye and have fun with everyone for the last time and stuff. So I think that's like a fantastic memory to go back to. As sad as it is to say goodbye, like, at least you have that to look forward to each summer. So just quickly, so obviously camp is fantastic. It's so much fun, but you do get a little bit of travelling afterwards. Obviously your name is Travel with the Law, so I imagine you're very keen on the post-camp travel. Do you just want to give a bit of a rundown where you went to? What was your favourite place? Like, any tips for anyone?
Yeah, so I've done the majority of the east and west coast now, not even the middle, which is quite surprising, but yeah, I've done the majority cities of the east and west coast. So in my first summer was a road trip, started from New York, went down all the way down to like Florida, and then flew over to the West Coast, and then done like LA, San Francisco, San Diego, and like Yosemite National Park. So like a good mix. And like it's been intense. It's been intense, but I like enjoyed every minute, just wanting to experience as much of the US as possible. And in my second summer, I done similar. I wanted to still hit like the main cities, but like branch out a bit more. So I again done like a mix of a road trip and some flights, and ended up in New Orleans this time, which is just nice to experience the jazz culture down there. And yeah, then done a bit more of New York. Didn't do much of it last time. So it was just nice to experience like the main cities. Yeah, like as I said, like a road trip is probably the best way. It depends who you manage to go with. And that's the beauty of like finding people at camp. Like if you're lucky enough to have people that are over 21 and over, you might be able to hire a car, and who knows, like a road trip might be for you. But then other times like flights might be your option, or like, you know, staying with American friends, like the American counselors, like is a great way of doing it, which I'm possibly planning on doing this summer, is just staying with some American friends and, you know, having a great time in some different areas. But I just look forward to experiencing as much as possible in a short amount of time. Just because, I mean, it's just because like I'm not getting any younger, so like trying to see as much as possible in such a short space of time.
Makes me feel old when you say that, because I know how much younger you are than me. So
yeah, no, I just like everyone talks about, oh, is it too old to be at camp? I'm 21. I'm like, no, please don't ask me.
I'm 27 and I'm going out this summer. So it's like you're never too old, honestly.
You never know.
You are one of our influencers now, which is like a scheme that we're very proud of. It's a great chance for people to sort of stay associated with the AmeriCamp sort of, you know, brand. Like, we want people after the done camp, we're not just like off you go again, we want nothing to do with you. We're really keen to sort of make it a family and a great community. And obviously you're a prime example of that. Like, you went to camp the first summer, and now you're still sort of associated with us 2 years later at this point. What is sort of the best part of being involved as like being an influencer, being a brand ambassador for AmeriCamp? Any tips on how to make any good TikToks or anything like that? Like, sort of tell us about that journey.
I mean, I'm just forever grateful for what AmeriCamp have done for me. It's an organisation I've just been happy to, you know, be a part of. Like being an influencer for them. It's so fun, and just being able to like making these videos just doesn't really even feel like a job or a chore. It just like it's like fun, camp's camp, and I just really enjoy doing it, and doing it for AmeriCamp. Like, again, as I said, like so grateful for them, like through the whole process. Like there was life before AmeriCamp, but now AmeriCamp's here. Just so grateful for them, and just happy to make loads of videos. But yeah, I make all sorts, give like loads of advice. I try to do as much of I try to cover as much of the experience as I can at camp, but like, as I said, it's really hard, but it's getting better. Now we've got so many influencers, like me and Elise, actually one of the other influencers who went to Equinunk Blue Ridge. We try our best to show as much as we can about
it's
camp.
Tough. It's tough to sum it up unless you're there. Like, I mean, the content you're making is fantastic. Like, it is a really good snapshot, and I think it will get people as prepared as possible. But like I said, until you're at camp, there's so much to cover. There's so many little things as well. But I think like you and the other influencers do a really good job of just getting people ready, because I know before I went, like you said before, finding every little bit of detail possible about the camp and the experience and stuff like that. So it's good we have the influence like yourself to sort of, give that overview of your own experience and make it feel more real to people. Instead of just like they know you've done this journey through AmeriCamp for the past 3 summers, like they could probably ask you anything, you'll have it covered.
So I operate on Instagram and TikTok at Travel with the Law. Happy to take any questions, any advice. I'm so open to talk about camp all the time. So definitely. If anyone's got any little worries or just wants any questions about any part of camp, I can happily talk about my experience all day long. I try and make as many different videos as I can, and just explain all parts of the AmeriCamp process. But a pleasure to do all of it, and just ready to make more content. And 21 days I'll be at camp, and hopefully I get to put out a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. It's so soon. I think you're a good person as well, because you do often help us at our like camp fairs and events like that. So I know you'd probably go off and speak to everyone that's coming for the first time about your experience for ages, which is really great that you have that access to, the people that you see on TikTok. You can actually go and see them in person, like a mini celebrity in a way, to ask all the questions of like all the TikToks you've seen. Fantastic, Tom. This is a difficult question. To sum it up then, if someone was looking to do AmeriCamp, what is one thing you would say to them? Like, why should they do AmeriCamp? Why should they go through, sign up, and just sort of start this crazy journey?
It's one of those jobs where it's like the biggest reward. You just get so much out of it. If it's like life skills, if it's friendships, if it's just like general like memories and experiences, you just get so much out of it. And you don't realize it from the start. It's just like, a bit of a new experience, but it's just one of those where you got to take the jump. And once you've done that, you look back on it and just be like, I still look back on it and just be like, what a crazy journey it's turned out to be. But it's just to jump into it and just see what happens. Like there's a reason why like there's a 99.9 placement rate for AmeriCamp. Like they put you with like your camp, and then you manage to find like your people. And like camps is just, it truly is like the other people who like find it hard to believe, or just people from the outside, like you hear it all the time. Camp's like my favorite place on earth. It's one of the best places on earth to, like just be yourself, be your true self, and just enjoy your summer as it is. And it's just one of the best times. It's one of the best times I had. So it's about time that everyone else joins us on the journey and finds out what camp is for themselves.
Yeah, how amazing it is. Definitely, I think that was the perfect summary, Tom. So thank you so much for sort of summing up so eloquently. It's been fantastic having you on the podcast. Like I said, if you guys want to sort of view more of Tom's content and keep up with his camp journey, it's Travel with the Law. Find him on TikTok, and also our AmeriCamp TikTok as well. We'll have all the content that our beautiful influencers are producing this summer. Fantastic to talk to you, Tom. I hope you have the best summer ever for your 3rd summer, and we'll probably have you on next year for your 4th summer. So
excellent, pleasure as always. Okay. Cheers, Rob.
No, cheers, Tom.